Greetings, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Amazing. Welcome. Welcome to the closing ceremony and the demo day of the LA Tech Week Hackathon, the Gain Hack. We are here for a very specific reason. So before we get into why we're here, give yourselves a round of applause. You have made it to the demo day. If you are in here, you are already a winner because the judges, there was a lot of judges. The judges that you're seeing in here today, there's 12 of them. And the judges that are in here today are in the third tier of judges. We had 3 different tiers. We have 20 judges that were looking through all the different projects. We had a lot of submissions. It took a long time to narrow it down. And so we're really excited to have the 8 teams today at Google. So why are we here? We are Gain LA. We are a workforce and venture building initiative. We are a consortia of 3 organizations that came together because we realized that there was a gap in the innovation space, the access for youth to have the resources to be able to invent and then build a company, scale it, raise funding, help the community, save our city. This is why Gain LA exists. We're a consortia. Welcome to V0. This is batch 0, and we're really excited because you are the first top 8 of what will be the next 50 years of Los Angeles. So give yourselves another round of applause. Okay, so now, we're also here to celebrate the fact that HackerFun just turned 10 years old. We're born and raised in Venice Beach. I'm very excited that we were able to skate over here and bring you to our home. Not too many blocks away, we were born in a room when we realized that hackathons were the model. And recently, last week, we won $500,000 to be able to bring more hackathons across different zip codes, and specifically the city of Glendale. And that should show you the fact that there is government money out there to be able to do invention-based learning, build companies, and help your community. So today, we're here to bridge the digital divide. The digital divide, as you probably saw on DevPost, the Department of Education specifically defines the digital divide. The digital use divide is one of the 3. The digital design divide, and then the third one. Give me 1 second. Sorry, folks. We just have a lot of text popping up over here. Excellent. So specifically, why I want to read this out loud and why it's really important not to just off the cuff say exactly what it means, because the grants that are out there for you to win, they mean what they say. We have oriented every single project so that you can win grant money after this, government grant money. So I'm going to read this one more time. The U.S. Department of Education defines the digital divide through 3 distinct barriers: digital access, digital design, and digital use. Digital access divide refers to the inequitable access to connectivity, devices, and digital content. The digital design divide refers to the inequitable access to professional learning for educators to build their capacity to design learning experiences. A hackathon is actually a learning experience that use technology in meaningful ways. The digital use divide is the third one, refers to the inequitable implementation of assignments and learning experiences that utilize technology in meaningful ways. So now, all the folks that are in this room right now, they have developed inventions. They now could potentially become organizations, and they could potentially win grant funding. What gets measured gets managed, what gets managed gets money, and what gets money gets done. So I'm very excited to bring up our finalists. So the first finalist that we're bringing up is going to be in order. You're going to come up, you're going to have 5 minutes to do your pitch, and then 5 minutes for judges' questions. Judges, you have your links, you know what to do. Please ask questions. For some folks, this might be their first hackathon. Go hard. Don't go easy on them. This is how it was in Venice. Welcome. And so now, the first team that we're going to bring up, get ready. So let's see, who is the first team? First team is Go LA 28. Come on up, folks. There's a little ramp over here for you. You have a microphone. Oh, your steps are good too. Go ahead. Take it away. microphones turn off, just in case. We are live streaming as well.
All right, thank you everyone so much for joining us here today, talking about a really important issue of bridging the digital divide. The track that we chose to do today is the 2028 Olympics. So this is not the first time that Los Angeles is hosting the Olympics. It's actually the third time. The last time it happened was in 1984. We saw the impact that it had. Specifically, from the top of my mind, I can think of the LA 84 Foundation, which helps youth be empowered to participate in sports at a young age, connect with their community, be paired with mentors. So we recognize the impact that it can have on local businesses, just building businesses, building infrastructure. It really sets a foot forward in just everyone that's going to be here and the impact that they can have. So we decided to make Go LA 28. You can go to the website. With the LA 28 Olympics, we can expect over 10,000 Olympians. Even then, we are going to see millions of people coming into LA County, and this raises the issue of how are we going to support so many people? Is there going to be enough lanes in the freeways? How much traffic is that going to make? What are the efforts that LA County is making to impact this effort? We want to make an app that joins everyone, LA natives and even those across the world, to be aware of the impact that LA is having and their efforts. So there's 3 groups right now that the LA County has made to assist with this. So the first group is creating opportunities for LA natives to be hired by these companies, because they know that local businesses are going to have so much more traffic. So hiring LA natives. Another one is sustainability. So a big effort in pushing for EVs, public transport, just trying to get everyone to use those instead of just being such a car-centric city, as well as the third one, which is just supporting businesses, making sure they have enough funds to actually do any remodeling that they need to do, things like that. Thank you. So yeah, that's how we decided to make Go LA 28. If you have anything to say, we can also just go to the demo. Yes. For sure. Cool. So Go LA 28 is going to start us off with a sign-up page. Diana is just working on screen sharing that really quick. Cool. So we have a Get Started page. Yep. Get started. Right, there you go. Right. Yeah, so we have a Get Started page, so it asks for, I need to type in. Yeah. First name, last name, just getting the user's information. And then you're able to say whether you're new to LA or if you're a LA native. So I'll just say LA native. And let's do hockey and softball, just getting my sports, my favorite sports. So the homepage basically gives a little spiel about Los Angeles and how it's very rich and diverse, and that we're committed to making it more accessible and making closing the digital divide more by digital use. So anyone that uses our app is able to explore the city and just get excited about the upcoming Olympics. So one of our features is the forum. So here, LA natives answer questions that people that are new to LA ask. So yeah, here are just some sample discussions. So people asking about the best ways to get around LA, and the LA natives gets to tell them about all the transportation. Let's see, here also food recommendations and whatnot. And an important feature about this is that it's AI monitored. So with Google Gemini, it ensures that no hateful comments or anything inappropriate is posted. Yeah. Oh, let's see. And let's see. Our exploration page, you can talk about it. Yeah. We're trying to push people to be incentivized for making sustainable challenges. So if they want to donate to any charities, so I know 30,000 is the expected amount of people who are going to be displaced by 2028. So we really want to incentivize new people to donate. They're going to get green points, so this would give them just like coupons or discounts to local businesses. So everyone's benefiting, not only businesses, but also just seeing the impact go a long way. Any questions? For sure.
Okay, ready? Catch.
Really? Oh, wow. I didn't know I was going to be working.
Here.
What is this? Oh, it's a mic. All right. Thank you for that. Guys, I like the idea quite a bit. My question to you is, when you keep hitting the navigation, the hamburger, there's an AR. I'm really excited to see what that is.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we can do that. What is your vision for the AR part?
So actually, in the time that we had, we didn't realize how difficult it was to make an iOS app using a Windows device. So we actually weren't able to implement the AR, but we have the exact outline once we do get access to like an Apple developer account, which is what we need. But basically what we wanted is for an AR, so anyone that opens up the app can look in their surroundings, and then the AR would recognize certain buildings and it would show information.
Got it.
So like if you're around a venue, one of the Olympic venues, you can scan it and then it would show you all the information.
Got
Like
it.
what sports are being hosted there or the history behind it. So, yeah.
Were you thinking a little bit more when you're using this AR, that feature you just mentioned? Were you thinking, because you guys are looking to bring local businesses, right? And say, hey, that way is swimming, right?
Right.
Right next door is Moe's Pizza, possibly
Right, yeah.
advertising. So now you can drive, it's a 1 mile walk. Are you guys thinking about that?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
we have a Google Firebase set up, so our database.
Got
And
it.
there we have all of our venues and all of the local businesses around those venues. So, yeah, when you scan it, it should be able to recognize those locations.
Awesome, thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for that. I wanted to kind of dig in a little bit to this question of the Green Challenge. I think that's a super cool idea. It's something, I work in transportation for LA Metro, something we're wanting during the Olympics to people to have a car-free experience, so right on target with that. I'm wondering what your kind of concept is for validating those trips. What in the back end? Is it using location-based services? Like what's the thought of people love to get a deal, right? How are you gonna validate that they actually did that green trip?
I mean, since we take the metro all the time, we know that you need to have like a metro card to be able to just ride the metro. So if we just collect people's email, then I think there's an easy way to just be able to transfer over that information. I think right now the way that we implemented it is just if you take a picture, if you were to take a picture at the metro station, then that counts as validation. But we would definitely want it to be linked to their account.
Interesting and great job. I love the topic that you picked. I work for the city of LA, and this is something that we talk about all the time, is how are we going to fit all these people into our tiny space in the future. I'm curious about the main problem that your app solves. So you mentioned that the part that you highlighted was the forum piece. And I know there's other platforms that have a similar functionality with, just social media or, other forums. What do you think is the thing that really makes your app stand out?
Right. I think if we were able to implement the AR, that would have been our coolest feature. But also just doing the green points, the leaderboard. So I think the real impact would be just making everyone that's new to LA conscious of our environment and making sure LA is as well taken care of as possible. We don't want with so many people that you said that are going to be coming in, we want to make sure that they're doing the best things so that LA is as accessible for everyone. Yeah. Yes.
Anyone else? I could throw it to you, but I decided not to. Eric,
So
thank
cool.
For sure. Hi everyone. I'm Ashley. So I work in engineering, and so this is wonderful. Love the user stories you all are thinking about. The question I have is, I wonder, how do you imagine getting people to use it? Like, how are you all thinking about usability? And, what users do you imagine coming to the app, and how do you imagine them using it? And, how do you think about scaling actual usage?
Yeah. I mean, we want this app to be for like people who are coming for the Olympics, but also just anyone who's in LA already. So we do want to target like local businesses, so making sure they're on the platform. Like if they want us to like have them be on a challenge, like they can reach out to us and we can reach out to them as well. Also, we want it to be for like not-profit foundations. So I think kids would like really like the AR feature that we have, or like just like challenges. They could create a classroom within their local space and like challenge their classmates to be like, this is how many green points I have. But yeah, also just like making a safe space for anyone who's coming for the Olympics to ask questions.
Anyone that's excited.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Another question.
Are you folks students? Where are you folks from?
Oh, yes. We're both seniors in college right now. We're twins, if you can't tell.
Where do you go to school?
I go to LMU. My name is Johanna, by the way. We should have said that at the beginning. But yeah, we're both fourth-year computer science majors, so I go to UCLA. Yeah.
Right.
You're right, applause.
Thank you. Sorry, we decided to move on. Running out of time.
All right, next up, Storybridge. Come on up. Judges, definitely make sure you introduce yourselves. We want to make sure the folks know where you're from. Thank you so much.
One second.
Just waiting to set up.
Continue. Identifying your keyboard. Shift. Back. Quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like it. Okay. When was the last time you guys saw a truly emotional, heart-wrenching indie film? One that hasn't been filtered, watered down, or silenced by the industry gatekeepers. We've seen that the content we're consuming is not original, it's boring, especially in TV and in cinema. That's why we decided to create Storybridge, in order to give a chance for underrepresented ideas and creators to be able to connect with industry decision makers, to be able to share their ideas, their novel, emotional ideas with the people who can make their ideas come to life. Let's jump right into it. Here's Storybridge, we log in, and we're directed to our general marketplace account, where we can see the different stories that our talented creators have made. Here's a sample collection with the names of the stories, whether it be plays and the genre, the producer, and we also tried to implement a AI-powered search bar where you can use Gemini in order to more accurately and more specifically request what type of story you're looking for. And let's jump right into an example of one of the stories.
May I welcome you to one of our story, The Invisible Thread. Now, the first thing that probably grabbed your attention is the cover picture. And for the storytellers who would like to showcase their talents with their stories, with their ideas, but they don't have enough resources to create the pictures, we are implementing the AI-generated pictures for them so that we don't limit those who doesn't have ability to come up with pictures, who doesn't have that much of visual artistic skill. And if you're a story seeker, you can click on this, and what you can see is the price, if the storytellers may decide to sell their stories, or they can put it up for free, the preview and the synopsis of the story. On the side, we included widgets for the storytellers to tell their stories easily and to put in images and videos to complement their stories. We have a lot of easy access, including the AI-generated pictures and the tools, so that we don't limit anyone with who are still learning to use digital so that they can kind of showcase their talent to their fullest. And if the story seekers decide to buy the story or continue looking at the free ones, they can dive into a story. So let's get to it.
So while creating this project, we asked a few of our friends while doing user research how exactly we can make the platform more accessible and how exactly can we make it better. So one of the pain points they talked about was how producers don't have that much time to look for the best talent out there in the market. So what we created was an AI summary. So for all of these stories, we have a quick summary which shows you exactly, instead of having to read the whole story, it tells you Leela is a 17-year-old with the gift of seeing emotional threads, and if you can check here, the summary is accurate. But if they wanted to be a bit more specific in terms of the things that they wanted. Let's say I'm a producer. I'm looking to create a story that's really focused on female protagonists. Let's see if this actually fits my criteria. So we're gonna ask it to basically tell me about the female protagonist. And so now we have a built-in AI that's going to come up with exactly if it's a pain point or something that they're trying to look for. So if I really wanted to see her journey in terms of like Leela's journey, so it tells us exactly what she went through in the enchanted village of Lumara. And this is something that we really have, it's a big feature that we have.
All right, let's take a moment to acknowledge how hard it was and how many challenges every one of you had to endure. And honestly, it's very fun to do a hackathon. I'd like to talk about one of our biggest stuff, also our code here. You can see here, that's our code. And it's a pretty fun project to work on. But one of the biggest problems that I'd like to showcase is like, one day, just imagine at 8 a.m., I was going to a database class. It was very nice, very cold, and I was very sleepy. A friend came up to me, and it was like, what is this thing about SQL injections? And that caught my mind. I went into my coding, and then I was like, oh, have I ever tried this with my own project? No. So I tried it with my own project, and turns out I could pull the entire list of users from just one query into the search bar, which was really, really bad. So we had to kill a bit of projects, kill a bit of features just to get this thing fixed. And we wanted to make it as redundant and as reliable as possible so that we can scale this up in the future and make it so that a lot of people can actually benefit and bridge the digital divide in the end.
Can I go? Hey, what's up, man? I'm Miles. I'm a solutions architect for mobile engineering, and I was just curious, what kind of data do you have that supports that producers are looking to pay for stories being posted? My bad. Got it. So my question is, what kind of data do you have that supports that producers are looking to go on a platform like this and pay for ideas from the random individual?
So we don't have any market data, but we were just asking our friend who was like an actor and a story writer, and we were trying to go to the user themselves to find out like what they actually wanted out of the product. So this was completely a pure guess to answer your question, but I think
And
that
also to add on, we also found sort of in terms of accessibility, so we've found that a lot of our friends are actually struggling to find a job in the market. So I was interning at a media entertainment company, and even people there were picketing being sort of laid off. So it's even harder for someone who's entry level grad to be able to break in. So something that we offer in terms of accessibility is we offer these groundbreaking stories from these talented individuals which don't have the resources to be up there at the top to actually pitch to these producers, but we offer is a more accessible way for them to actually get these stories. So instead of, for example, paying more money and actually having this sort of like big agencies that provides like a bunch of different writers, we kind of have these talented story writers. And we do, basically, what our vision is to partner with kind of organizations and educational institutions and be able to sort of make sure that their work is being published here. And from there, we're trying to promote and connect them with producers for their work to be shown.
Got it.
Hi guys, my name is Adriana RC. I'm the founder of RC Entertainment. We manage a lot of global pop stars. I think it's I love it. I think it's awesome. My question for you is, if I was a storyteller and I was concerned that my ideas would be stolen, how would you guys respond to me?
Right. So we're thinking of something like an NFT sort of thing, so that everything is protected either with blockchain or something. We haven't really fully looked into the idea, but we've been working a lot at blockchains and stuff like that to make sure that no one can steal the data. It's very secure, and honestly, that's why we also put a lot of time into the database, making sure that it's very secure and no one can just hack in without paying or giving the right IP to the right credits to the writer.
Great job. I love storytelling, so it's a really cool topic, and I think really relevant for the city of LA. That's a lot of what we're working on here. I have a question about the users. So you mentioned the story creators, right, and then the producers. And I saw you're using AI, and the summaries that they're generating, I think at an executive level, are still pretty difficult to go through several different, let's just say you have to review 3,000 entries or something like that, and I'm reading this. I'm curious if you'd thought about having some sort of AI generated, what's the wow factor of this, or what's the controversial part of this story that makes it interesting, or something like that, that it might be able to either rank these or somehow take away the job of sorting through all of them so that the producers can really see the gems in this.
I think that's a really good question. Thank you. I was thinking about just having the code in the backend go through all the stories and create sort of a summary based on the question. And using Gemini, I feel like we can actually do that. So you input a question and it reads through all the stories that it thinks is relevant, asks the queries, and then you can actually get an answer and a ranking for everything that you made. So hopefully we can make that in the future. Thank you for the idea.
And to add on, also we were thinking of doing a personalized page. So sort of how, on kind of when you go shopping online, it goes through, based on your view history, based on your search history. So from there we could use things like machine learning and actually tailoring sort of their page and making sure that they don't have to go out their way too much to find the best story that they're already looking for, have been already looking for the past week, for example.
Okay, Brandon, Venn Counsel, this is not legal advice, but research copyright. A feature to file copyright would be really maybe helpful for a lot of creators who are making screenplays.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Labib, co-founder and CEO of KO. We help people train MMA with a mobile phone and its front camera. Question for you guys that might be multifaceted. So it seems like one of the hurdles for people to get noticed in an industry that's quite populated and quite competitive. How do you guys see yourself kind of stand out and become the platform for producers or directors to actually go on this platform to do the discovery in the first place, right? Because if they don't know about it, how would they pick those stories? How are you guys thinking about distribution and getting this in front of the right people?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we wanted to focus on was marketing, both on the producer side and in terms of the storyteller side. Since we're focusing on more underserved, marginalized communities, that's where our storytellers should come from, to make sure that Hollywood actually has a diverse stories, as they've been trying to laud for the past times. And in terms of getting this in front of the producers, that's also another big challenge that we've been brainstorming. Naturally, producers do want great stories. How do we make sure that producers have a great experience on our app? Through AI. We make them personalized recommendations. We use AI to make sure to vet the quality of the stories, and we let Gemini help the directors find what they're looking for. And I think that should be able to capture a lot of the directors.
Mm-hmm. And just out of curiosity, do you guys know how producers currently source these stories?
I believe that they have from my understanding, that they have their own story writing team, which they can either give direction on, input on, kind of like analogous to like primary investigator in a research lab, or I'm sure there are many other modes that they can acquire their ideas from as well.
Very cool. Great job, guys.
All right, next up, AI commentator. AI commentator, come on up.
You can put it on the screen. Share my screen. All right, cool. So we made AI commentator. So I'll explain a little bit about the software and kind of how we got out first. Introduce my team. We got Kartik, Neo, and Mushtaq. We actually spent 2 days this weekend building this software that we're about to show you. But I'll give a little bit of my background to kind of explain why I built this. So in my 20s, I was a professional MMA fighter, and then I moved to LA, and I kind of wanted to get into tech. So I started working at a company called Pluto TV when they first started, hiring people. I'm employee 7 at Pluto TV, and currently I oversee the combat sports at Pluto TV. So I've been kind of at the convergence of kind of tech and fighting for over 10 years. So recently, the footage that you'll see on the screen, I'll leave it in there. I recently started a fight promotion, and I realized there's a lot of challenges with having a fight promotion. I started to realize that I had my first event. Just leave it. So I had my first event in May. We did an event up in San Jose. We produced the whole event, and we realized we didn't have money for commentators. We didn't have money to pay a social media manager to distribute highlights to social. We basically just shot the event with the house cameras, and then a month or two later, paid a commentator to add his commentary to it, and then we paid some people to pull highlights. But we were almost 2 months after the event when we started sharing stuff on social. So what we decided to create was what's called an AI commentator, where we use AI to, in real time, commentate fights. So what we do is we take the live stream from a fight, we pass it through what's called FFmpeg, and we start cutting 30-second chunks of the fight and storing those 30-second chunks. What we do is we then take those. You tell me to fix the wire? Okay, 1 second. I'll try a different port here. Yeah. So we basically take those 30-second chunks and we send them to 2 places. We send them to 12 Labs, which is an AI that analyzes footage and can give really good analyzation of what's happening in the scene. It can basically give you actions. And then we basically send the footage as well to OpenAI to analyze every third frame. We basically take a screenshot of every third frame, push it to OpenAI. We analyze that, we come up with a script, and then when that script is ready, we pass it to what's called real-time API, which is OpenAI's voice API. We create a voice track using OpenAI. So then all of a sudden we have a nice voice track that's tracked to the fights, but the voice doesn't sound perfectly real. So we go a step further. We take that voice track, send it to something called Captions API, and we create a digital twin and put a different face on the commentary. So I'm going to show a real example here. Oh, it's not showing. It's a little grainy. I'll just show a real. You can see the commentator in the bottom.
Look at the focus in her eyes as she sets up her opponent with a flurry of punches. Boom! Out of nowhere, a massive head kick. Desiree lands it perfectly and her opponent is out cold. The crowd is going wild. This is the stuff legends are made of. And the kicker is, I'm not even a real commentator. I'm an AI bringing you all this excitement. How cool is that? This is the future of sports broadcasting, and I am absolutely here for it.
So we did this for my MMA league, and we started to realize that there's a lot more use cases. You know, I can do it for
Rutgers facing a daunting
college
4th
football.
and 32. The quarterback under center looking over the Indiana defense. There's the snap, looking for options. Pressure coming, he scrambles to his right. Oh, he's in trouble. Indiana brings the blitz, and the ball is up. It's a lateral. Rutgers trying to make something happen here. Another lateral. The Scarlet Knights are dancing in and out of trouble. They find a little space, and whoa, the ball carrier breaks free, dodging tackles left and right.
So obviously it needs a little work to like get the timing right, but what we started to realize, like, I could do it for Fight League, I could do it for college football, but when we start talking about what the whole goal of the hackathon was to like kind of democratize everything, is if you have like a high school league and you want to stream your sports, you could, you know, aim a camera, run it through our software, and we started to realize that, especially with like, there was a fight we had here. There was, if you put like a picture of the fighters and a little bit of information, or let's say football, if we feed the information like number 22 is this person, here's his stats, then the AI will know when number 22 has the football, it can kind of give like, his hometown is this, and here's some stats about this. So it can contextually start to like understand kind of how to give commentary. You can, and eventually we'll get to, we want to get to like where there's two commentators where they can kind of talk back and forth and have banter. And then, how much time do we have? All right. Yeah, I was gonna show, we do have, we made a highlight tool with a pretty nice like front end where you can basically put your footage through here, and it basically, for a fight, you can type in the word kick, it'll show you all the kicks. You type in punch, show you all the punches, and you can immediately just export those to social or just download these and pass them off to your social team to like start editing. So you can find all those moments for you easy, and you don't need to like hire a ton of people. It's just kind of using AI for automation. Thank you. You got the little thingy?
Oh. You hear me?
Hear you loud and clear.
Oh, nice. Just in case you didn't hear, my name is Miles. I'm a solutions architect for Lululemon. I was wondering, you guys are using like multiple third-party systems to actually get this working. Yep. How do you actually see this scaling in regards to cost?
Yeah, I mean the costs weren't great. Like it was costing a couple, maybe almost like $3 per export. Like, but we would probably use a model, and we were using OpenAI. I'd probably push like Gemini, and there's a lot of like things like 12 labs. We went more for, you know, we worked together for 2 days, so we went for kind of speed rather than like figuring out the scale of the cost. But yeah, eventually we'll figure out the cost to get them down.
And sorry, I think as LLMs mature, a lot of these steps will be able to be combined. Like recently with ChatGPT's real-time API, they just combine from speech back to speech without going through an intermediary transcription phase. So we believe that's going to be the future as well, and a lot of these steps can be combined and the cost brought down.
And just one more question. The problem you guys are solving is that the current commentators aren't robust enough, or what? What's the problem?
Well, for my league, we don't have commentators, so I was trying to just create commentators because I didn't really want to pay, because it's not just you pay commentators, you need a camera guy for them. I need to get commentator headsets. I need to get a mixer. I got to have like a feed that goes to the house. Someone's got to run wire like hundreds of feet. So it's kind of a scale thing, but it's also for like if you have a Little League baseball team, or if you want to start, you can do this for esports. You can just run this through if you're playing like NBA 2K and you want to have your own commentary. We can make this fully customizable to like talk about you, or you can choose celebrity voices or things like that. So it's, you know, I use the example of my fight company because I have the footage, but it's more like it's scalable in many directions.
And just to add on, in terms of accessibility, this is also useful for places like high schools where they're not going to hire a full-time commentator for all their sports. And it's useful for people with visual impairments that, without a commentary track, they'll have no idea what's going on. So they might want to be a part of, whether their kids, their niece or nephews, or their grandchildren's games, but...
And here we go.
Yeah. Oh, go for it.
Yeah, we also did some...
King takes control, driving right into the lane. She glides past the defense, up for the layup, and it's good.
So it does a pretty good job in real time.
Right.
And
Thank you.
And to answer your earlier question about the costs, so because of the lack of time, we weren't able to train our own models. But if we could leverage the open, source applications like Llama, then the cost could be brought down hugely. Because right now we use APIs at good cost, but after fine tuning, it won't.
Hi, I'm Kibi Anderson. I'm the co-president of the Black TV and Film Collective. I love this, and I just wanted to know what other use cases perhaps had you even identified, even beyond sports. Like I can think about, people are arguing or, just kind of turning this into kind of a fun thing, A, and then B, who would you see as the target kind of consumer in terms of the main person who would buy the product and pay for it?
Yeah, I mean, when I think from a consumer standpoint, I would probably target some lower college leagues like Big Sky or some of these smaller. I would go with high schools and lower sports. There's so many sports that it's just you don't even do production because you know the scale of it. But if you know you just have to aim a camera and maybe load a PDF of your team and stuff, and it'll do the rest, then why wouldn't you do it? There's a lot of people that just choose not to because it just opens a can of worms. I've been in production for over 15 years, and sometimes you just say no just because it's hard.
There's also the option for high school athletes, compile a clip of their highlights, add a commentary track using AI, and then that gives them more visibility and hopefully help them get scouted for college and so on.
Yeah, and you could eventually feed it analyze, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me why I went 2 for 10. I was like, well, you were doing this, and you were you could. That's the great part about AI. You can just start asking it kind of weird questions too, and it'll really help you.
So have you considered the use case of local news organizations, local newspapers creating new television sort of stations out of organizations that don't have the capability? And secondly, would you leave your jobs?
I'll answer the first question. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd like to. I would like to have a suite of tools that help any production, whether it's news, sports. There's this, like I said, there's a lot of parts of it that are hard. And I guess the question, would I leave my job? Maybe if I got some good funding and some good traction. But I've been at my company for 11 years, so maybe sooner than later if the right opportunity presents itself.
I know you guys chose a lot of sports. They sort of double clicks on what he was saying. What do you see any other really deeper use case out of this? I mean, you guys are really building some interesting things, especially when you're going every 2-3 frames, right? What? Blow my mind. Where else can I use this outside of sports commentating?
I mean,
I've got a few ideas. Blow my mind.
You could aim it at anything, but that's also the part about just opening things up to customers and consumers. You let them kind of tell you what the problem is. It's I work in product, and we do lots of market research, and I'd love to talk to people and what would you use it for? That's because my brain's kind of narrow with certain things, but it's good to know.
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, right now, let's say remote learning. This would be interesting. If let's say the sports part right now is teacher teaching whatnot, right? And I have an impairment. It could be dyslexia. It could be something else. I'm an auditory kind of guy, right? And maybe your AI is learning. It's commentating. It's telling me, hey, Mr. So-and-so is doing this. It recognizes live teaching, but maybe I don't understand Mr. Coolidge and how he explains things. But your AI can understand me. It understands the subject matter, what it's trying to teach me, but at the same time, it's translating to me in a different way. Yeah. To me, I'm seeing, because I really like how you really dissected the technology.
Thanks. And I mean, you could also, let's say you film a 2-hour match or a game, and you're like, when was that point where I shot that 3-pointer? With what we do, you can just type in 3-pointer, blah, 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 and it probably pull up like 3 results. You can also go back and reference footage much quicker. If there was a moment you're looking to find, you can just type in, and we scan the entire thing. We're doing every couple frames. So if someone dropped a soda, you can say when someone dropped a soda, and it should be able to find it.
Like to your point about like personalized education, like you could probably like, I think some professors already record all their lectures online. So when you're preparing for an exam, you can ask like, hey, show me when my professor was talking about this topic that I needed to review on, right? So it helps students that might have difficulty keeping up in classes for whatever reason, things like that. So definitely there's a potential there in terms of education as well.
Hi, my name is Eitan. I'm the president of AYA Instruments. We do power monitoring and measuring. My question, I think this is a great project. I think I see a lot of potential for it. One thing that you mentioned was selling to schools or sports leagues. Is that accessible then to the end user who's going to benefit from it most, who would be the player? Does all the kids in the school or in the league have access to it? What if I'm doing karate and I want to be able to do that just for myself, but I don't have the money necessarily to do this, or maybe my school district hasn't approved this? Is there a way to make it accessible to the people of Los Angeles to be able to be recording and inputting any of their content to then have commentary and adding in extra reels?
Yeah, I think that the tech there is not super hard to like give someone access to video and they give access to other people, whether it's similar like YouTube, you can do unlisted or you can share to people and they can see the back end of all their footage and they should be able to find themselves. But I don't want to make this thing, like if I actually want to scale this, I don't want to make it expensive. I pay for so many AI services, but I like when they're like $10 a month or $20 a month. I don't want to do like $500 a month because you're a company. I'd rather, it just depends on how many credits you use. It should be like, we come up with a finite price, whether it's like $1 or 50 cents per credit, and however many credits you run is what you pay. So if you want to share it with people, share it how you like. As long as you're not processing like AI, we shouldn't charge you anything extra. You can share the video to whoever you want. Yeah.
So just to add on, there's at least 3 different factors that will help to reduce the cost of this down over the years. I think we mentioned 2. First of all is we can train our own model, have better performance from a more fine-tuned, smaller model. Secondly, we have been using the most expensive model because we are trying to get the best performance out. And then thirdly, as models improve, we should be able to just get the same performance using smaller models that come out of the box and get better performance via better prompt engineering as well. So that's 4 different ways that can really lower the cost from what we have now.
And is it any video content can be submitted through it, whether it's a YouTube video that somebody else recorded?
Doesn't matter.
Or
It's just looking at it, and then we have a prompt that says, act like a sports commentator for this, pretend you're here, like have this type of energy. Like we can create like preset profiles. We just chose sports, but it just analyzes, it takes a frame and looks for everything. It just like analyzes everything.
So if somebody was like, let's say a potter, and they wanted to video record
right ahead.
them making
Yeah,
pottery.
you want to do like ASMR, to tell it to talk nice and slow, and I do the pottery. Like you could, yeah. I think the creativeness is like endless with this. We just chose sports. Yeah.
Great.
Hey, I'm Labib. Love the examples. Very, very cool. One of my questions was that we got to see the end product of the videos like processed with the commentary on top and the video. How do you guys imagine, I guess, like the interface or the way people would use it? Because I assume it's going to be maybe a bit daunting for new people who've never used something like this. So maybe how would the interface look like for that?
I mean, I know we can show you what the interface looks like if you want to see it. But it's as simple as you choose like to upload your video, or you connect a live stream to it, and then you can basically start prompting it. If we can connect. Oh, well, it's still showing me even though I'm not even connected.
Is it frozen?
But yeah, it's kind of frozen. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, it's very, very basic interface. You upload your footage, and we can process it. So he can do one in real time here. But everything we show you actually works. It all processes and really works. It was we probably drank 50 Red Bulls as a team over the weekend and stayed up all night and didn't sleep at all.
So, oh. It takes a few seconds to upload. So.
Hello, hello. This mic is hot. All right, excellent. Next up, we have Health Watch AI. Health Watch AI.
Are we using one mic?
I can use this.
What do you mean?
Is it not this one?
It's connected.
Oh, there you go.
Ready?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Catalina,
My name is Lex.
and we built Health Watch AI.
Which
So within the correctional, so I'll start over. Let me start off with I'm nervous and I'm tired. And if I come across as that, it's because I am. One of the greatest digital divides exists within correctional facilities when managing medical requests for inmates. And this is because of a few reasons. One of them is, of course, they use antiquated softwares. Two, inmates don't have access to see the status of their medical requests, and so they're often left in the unknown. And this leads to a third reason, which is inmates often have to submit multiple medical requests to be taken seriously and to see a physician. And this hits home. This is one of the reasons that we learned about the issue. This is my brother, Eric. Hope you see the resemblance.
Hi, Eric.
And he was incarcerated during COVID, and he had a
Throat infection.
throat infection, which is genetics, or it's because of genetics. And he was in extreme pain for weeks, and he was not being seen by a doctor even after the constant submissions. And it wasn't until he was coughing up blood that he was able to get the care that he needed. And Eric's story is very common, and this leads to, and this is one of the reasons we built Health Watch AI, which is to prioritize healthcare and also decrease the costs associated with medical neglect.
I guess this is my turn. All right. Health Watch AI solves medical neglect in 3 ways. One is AI-powered prioritization of medical requests. Currently, when medical requests are submitted to correctional facilities, they're either done with pen and paper or antiquated systems. And a correctional officer or medical staff has to then assess the severity and hopefully prioritize the right medical request. Well, we wanted to solve that problem. So what we do is we use AI and NLP to extract the keywords from each medical request and the duration in which someone has had a medical ailment and assign a severity score. That way we make it real easy at a glance to see if someone has been suffering for a medical ailment for weeks at a time, and if it's severe, we have 2 minutes left, mild or moderate. 2, we make it easy to track chronic conditions. Right now, if an inmate submits a medical request, it gets lost in the ether. They have no way to see if anyone has reviewed it or when they're actually scheduled to receive care. And 3, we want to provide real-time metrics to reduce costs and increase accountability. One of the systemic problems in correctional facilities is that because individuals are inmates, people don't prioritize them as much. So what we've came up with is, in our dashboard, we have something called the escalating cost, which is, if we go to the next one, which shows medical staff and correctional officers the cost of medical neglect over time. This increases hourly, so that way the medical staff can see clearly how much they will potentially lose from not providing immediate care to inmates. And now we're going to create a new medical request.
So I'm just going to create something.
Wow, same while I'm up here.
So, and then we click submit. And then this will bring it back.
And we see assigned a severity score of severe. We trained our own model with about, I think, 40,000 different medical requests. Yeah.
And HealthWatch AI could help reduce the $8 billion annual cost burden that is caused by the medical neglect as well as the patients not, or the inmates not being seen.
And potentially dying from medical neglect as well.
That too.
We want to detect medical ailments early on. Our stretch goal eventually is to, whenever an inmate submits a medical request, to correlate that with their medical history. And that way, if you have a cough and you have a history of asthma, we can then say, oh, this might actually, become a lot worse if you're not treated. That way, the correctional resident can receive adequate care quickly, and the prison has a lower chance of having a higher financial burden in the future.
Or being sued too.
Or being sued too. We don't know. No one likes to be sued.
I love your idea. So cool. I have a question about, okay, so when I go to the doctor, a lot of doctors ask me questions that I hadn't thought of, my symptoms, and I'm like, actually, now that you mention it, that is happening. I'm curious if you'd thought about having some sort of, like guided, hey, what's your problem? Is it in this area? Or something like that, so that it helps capture maybe some of the telltale signs of a particular, illness or, situation where you might not be aware of that yourself as not a medical professional.
We have not, but that is a great idea for phase 2.
I guess I can go. I kind of like this idea that the prison or the facility knows how much they're going to have to pay, given that a request came in for some medical attention. But I'm curious, does this introduce potential bias for the person that's evaluating these requests coming in to only choose, to, I guess, take care of the person who has the most expensive condition? Do you see what I'm saying here?
That's a very good question, and I will give you the answer I thought of right now. And if you look at this right now, I would say, yes, this could introduce bias. But as Lex was saying, if we were to introduce adding the history or the medical history into the AI and be able to quantify that as well into the priority and the queue, sorry, I said the word, then I think that could be something to explore and decrease the bias that could be introduced.
Or you can have them just go down the list, force the...
Or we can introduce an algorithmically sorted dashboard.
Hi, Eitan with AYA. I'm not overly familiar with the current medical system inside of correctional facilities. What's the current process that the inmate would go through if they were having extreme chest pain? How are they submitting it? Do they have a phone, a computer? How does that look?
They would wish they had a phone, but currently they don't. If you have pain, you can go, it depends on the facility. I think California, we're a bit more advanced. We do have the option to complete a form online, and you complete the form, but you have no idea what happens after that. You have to wait. And it's known among inmates that you have to continuously submit that report or the form for you to be seen. If you submit it once, the likelihood that you'll be seen is very low. And it's not, I'd like to think it's not because they want to, neglect. Rather, the limited resources, oftentimes these facilities have one resident doctor or a nurse practitioner. So it's more so about the lack of resources in that area.
Just to add to that, that's in prisons, but in jails, a lot of them have to submit it on pen and paper. So it's either A, they're overburdened and they cannot address the care of specific inmates, or they have inadequate systems to begin with.
So if they don't currently have access to devices, or they do have maybe in a couple a computer that they will submit something online, where are they able to then follow up with it as a system to say, hey, I submitted this, I want to now check on the status?
No, they can't. Oh, with HealthWatch AI, they can.
Yeah,
but
where are we getting these devices? Are these devices being put in and every unit has one device? Does each inmate now
we
have...
would love to have one iPad per prison.
Oh, sorry about that.
Well, no, sorry, I think I had the mic. I was just going to ask, to their point, I guess my question is, what's like the delivery mechanism? I have several family members, brothers who are incarcerated, prison, and jail, and I think it's a valid question, like, they don't have access to technology, and so my question is, like, who is using this? I love the idea, but, like, is it the inmate? Is it the prison warden? Like, who actually is leveraging the system?
I think this would be something that is used both by the inmate as well as the provider, the staff. Currently, we showed you both sides so you could see it. We didn't have time to create both profiles. But in reality, this would be, in our current vision, it could always change, is having a device placed within the medical facility for the inmates, and then of course, the staff can use the device they have. But a device would have to be placed within every unit or every ward for the inmates.
Yeah, so I think a really great point was brought up that, you mentioned that maybe a facility might be lucky to have like one medical doctor on staff, and there's, definitely a lot of people in there. Long term, do you actually think this is better suited for the medical doctor? So like, AI is augmenting for them instead of replacing them. So instead of having one doctor there, now due to this technology, there's technically 50 of them because of software. Do you think that would be more helpful? Because I think there still might be some friction. I don't know, from like a red tape standpoint or something, to give everyone in the facility a device to actually get there, versus empowering the person who's providing the medical help to scale themselves up.
Just so I understand, by that question, are you saying, let's say I'm an understaffed doctor, and I have X number of medical requests, I can then say I overburdened and we need to hire more doctors?
Yeah, so it's maybe their budget doesn't allow for additional staff, right? But this could technically create 50 more doctors. That could be like their sidekick.
You're saying like an AI?
Yeah, I'm wondering if you guys are thinking about that. This is just kind of like a discussion question.
That's medical red tape at that point. Being able to properly assess medical ailments and prescribe specific care is a bit more larger regulatory hurdle. So at this point, we just wanted to provide the recommendations as far as the severity of the medical ailments. But that's a great idea.
Cool.
Hey guys, Roy DeKina, Genera Venture Studio. Question, I know you guys talk a lot about who's looking at this to create the severity. And you mentioned that you can put a device, at the facility, right? Can they gamify it? Basically, hey, my chest hurt. Hey, now my ears hurt. You know what I mean? To rank me higher. Maybe I just want to get out of
So
For a
over
minute.
a lot of Red Bull the other night, I tried to come up with an algorithm to account for that type of bias, or account for someone trying to game the system. I'm well aware of the problem, and I have not designed a solution yet to do it. But yes, it can happen. But we would try to take that into account and try to de-rank abusive medical requests.
Hi, Ashley, engineering at Netflix. This is great. I have a similar question actually. You mentioned you trained a model on requests. You said around thousands of requests.
50,000.
50,000. I'm curious what model you're using, and then I'm also curious, are you allowing the model to classify status? Or like, are you allowing it to look at those thousands of requests and then classify it based on historical data? Or are you giving it some criteria on how to set status? Or are you just letting the model do that?
So if we're letting the model just yellow itself?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it sounded like, but tell me
But
if
no,
I'm wrong.
if you want me to actually reveal how the sausage was made, for example, in New York, I got a list of common slang in New York and how inmates would potentially describe their problems based on the severity. And so we gave it training data based on just sample medical requests with specific severities, and we cleaned the data as much as we can, as much as we could. So we didn't let the model classify itself. We gave it some classification to begin with.
Got it. Okay, thank you. And then what model are you using?
BERT transformers.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks.
So have you considered basically having humans either listen on the phone or in person with video as people visiting someone in jail to validate this data or augment your data collection? So if I go to jail and I have a right to maybe see someone through a glass, that is a whole nother data collection point. And many people have the right to make phone calls. And the audio of that is another data collection point. So maybe just have you considered how you could use, if you had someone going to all the prisons, just scheduling a meeting to visit someone. I've never visited someone in jail, but doesn't the person brought to you and you see them through glass if you visit someone in jail?
It depends on whether it's state or federal. It depends on the prison, right? You can have one where it's face to face, you have nothing around, like no glass, and you could have contact, and then there's others where there is the glass.
And they have a right to
separation
like a
and-
phone call too?
Yeah, they do.
So have you considered using that data to augment this data?
I think getting that data would be a lot more difficult because that is private.
What if you sent someone as like, let's say I'm a volunteer, I want to support your platform, so I go visit people in jail. All the people on this list that are severe I visit, that's another way of validating that they're actually hurt, that they're actually sick. And then you have these prices, so I think if maybe we could chat offline, but I think you could use additional data collection points to validate that the people are sick. And there's a cost to calling someone in jail. There's a cost to sending someone there. But I just work at a law firm. There's also a cost to the jail not meeting the needs of people with severe conditions.
You're right.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Round of applause. All right. Next up, Screenplay Mate. Come on up, Screenplay Mate.
Hi, everybody. My name's Keish Fernandez. This is my partner, Billy.
Hello, hello.
So,
A few moments to set up. One second.
you ready? Hi. So, the product is Screenplay Mate. My name's Keish Fernandez. I've been a line producer and screenwriter for over 25 years in Los Angeles. Hear me now? Okay, great. It's the digital divide has been watching my film industry flounder. Unfortunately, too many of us in the industry were afraid that AI was going to take our jobs, replace us in the creative space. So I developed an app that was a screenwriting app that would actually take a different approach to screenwriting. Many screenwriting apps, they over-deliver. I mean, they under-deliver and over-promise. I think what we discovered was using conversational AI as opposed to just trying to generate a screenplay based on nothing. We built a system that actually teaches either a novice or a professional screenwriter, keeping them within the guidelines of structure, story format, character development, really work in a 3-phase process where the user gets to be assisted by AI as opposed to trying to create a situation where AI is just generating its conception of a screenplay. So one of the features that we have is our promise is to deliver you a first draft. As a line producer, what I understand is unless you have that first draft screenplay, you can't copyright it, you can't get funding for it, you can't do anything. You can't attach talent to it. So rather you are an actress who wants to do her next biopic, rather you are a producer who's an independent producer who has IP that you'd like to turn into a screenplay. This allows you to generate by crafting a first draft screenplay. And we also have a link that takes you to the Form PA, which is the copyright page where you can be protected so you don't have to worry about shopping your product and having it compromised because producers have seen it. In most cases, producers do not take unsolicited work. So it's almost impossible to get someone to read your work. And if it hasn't been copywritten, then they're putting themselves at risk by even looking or reading your product. So our product allows you to have a product, have an asset, have something that you can build an independent film from. We've also, on top of using this 3-phase process, it brings you to an outline phase. Then from there, you're able to use a drop and drag, almost like a time editor, where you can range the story sequences. You can really work with crafting the screenplay to get you to an outline position before the 3rd phase where the screenplay is actually generated. So it cuts down time, in drafting that first draft, which is really what you need. So producers, it's something for producers who have IP. Essentially, you would have to hire a real writer to do rewrites, but that's called a write for hire. But in the real world, being able to have your own original first draft completed and also a link to copyright it puts you in a position to be your own independent producer. So we've got Apple phones, making things so easy for you to shoot them. Why not make that first draft accessible to novices as well as honestly, I mean, if you're a professional screenwriter, being able to cut down that time, we have millions of ideas, but we have to prioritize our time with which ones are more viable. This gives you the ability to utilize your time better. And then the last feature that I think is really great is we have a QR code that generates each original draft. So there's a way for our system to track that screenplay, as well as, so later on down the road, if there's any kind of conflict of interest, if there's any kind of issue as to who generated what, to what degree did AI assist, we have ways of tracking that kind of thing. So like I said, as a line producer, I understand the logistics of what you may run into, and that's where I have made my domain relevant in this product. So I'm going to hand you off to Billy. He was the one who actually worked on the code.
And this demo that we put together, it went through several iterations. So I'm aware that the demo that you guys saw on DevPost, it might not have had like the QR code feature, things of that nature, but it's been in previous iterations. Only sad to say, as we continue to develop our working demo that we have now, those are going to come back in. I just, I had to reiterate over a night and then put it in. But yeah, so I kind of want to describe how I went about, building this in such a way that respects the craft rather than tries to, replicate or replace a role, a function in that industry. I'm not too familiar with the film industry, but I saw her vision and, I had the technical prowess to bring it to life. So basically, I'm a rapid prototyper. I would describe myself. I use a program called Replit to basically augment my ability to architect a vision, and I tell my program to do this, and then I quality control it. So basically, the process started with commands that I sent to the Replit agent. Basically, I told it to develop this web application and basically deploy a front end and a back end, and pretty much that process was a trial and error, but it's a rapid trial and error. So within a few days, I was able to arrive at a solution that we presented on the dev post. But pretty much after the initial setup, I went to component development where we decided at first. I decided to use React, but I pivoted and just went ahead and went with the what I want to say Flask and its associated kind of UI experience. Built out the character developments page, story outline, etc., so on. And as far as integrating AI for demo purposes, we use Gemini Pro. But if I were to, in a production setting, I wouldn't use a large language model that is connected to the internet for sake of protecting IP. We would use a local, what I want to say, a closed source LLM. That might not be the wording, like Gemma, for example, and deploy that on an intranet kind of situation rather than running those kind of responses on the internet, because at such a point, was that time? At such a point, we don't want to leak IP pretty much. So that's in a nutshell how we came up to the demo that we presented to you guys.
Sweet, no questions.
Great job. I'm a story writer myself. I've been working on not screenplays but books and children's books, and I understand like the issue that that's my question. I'm trying to understand the challenge that your app addresses. So I'm not a professional writer. I'm like a wannabe writer.
Yeah.
I'm a professional technologist.
Sure.
And so for me, that's not what I know how to do. So I've been experimenting. But it sounds like you're targeting people who are professional writers. And so I'm curious, like, how is this helping them get to where they want to be if they have the skills, or what skills are they lacking if that is their profession?
Oh, so let me clarify. I'm actually targeting both. So
Okay.
here's the deal. It's called Screen Playmate because I'm trying to invite people into the play of screenwriting. Screenwriting isn't just this task, right? It's ideas, it's emotions, it's a roller coaster. And I think everyone has ideas and emotions that they want to put on a screenplay, but the distance between wanting to do it and actually doing it is pretty far. So if you're a novelist, for instance, but you would love to see your novel as a screenplay, what we do, which is different because of my industry knowledge, we actually help you craft a screenplay with all of the rules and tools and act structures and all these things, because we teach our system what the criteria of a good screenplay is. So it's perfect for someone that's a novice or would be, or say you have a comic book, there's plenty of people that have IP that they want to turn into screenplays. And it's also good for professional screenwriters, which the biggest challenge with professional screenwriters is making them understand that, listen, this is going to help you. This is like the R2-D2. This is the droid that's going to help you maneuver through the galaxy. This isn't going to take your job. They're still going to be needed because you can have the first draft, but you're still going to need professional screenwriters to get it to where you need it to be. But if you don't have that first draft, you're not going to get any money for it. So ultimately, it is I see it in film schools. I see it in colleges. I see it helping novice screenplay writers more so than even professional screenplay writers. I see it in the professional world. I see it helping producers, because a lot of time as a producer, you know what a good screenplay is, but directors even, you'd be surprised how many directors don't write their own screenplays. So a lot of times, again, it's just that first hurdle. If you want to be an independent filmmaker and you want to make something, okay, you still need that first draft, right? Otherwise, no one's going to invest. You can't invest in ideas. You have to invest in IP, which is a first draft of a screenplay. And for the record, your first draft is covered under the copyright and all iterations afterwards. So that's what makes it easy. I'm sorry, did that answer your question?
I also want to add that I do also see it within the user-generated content creator economy, such as YouTube, things of that nature, which, you know, here we are at Google. So one way or another, I see it as a way to augment the way that these content creators come up with their, how would I put it, come up with their content. They would have to think a little bit less about it, therefore come up with it faster, and they can iterate faster, therefore getting more content out, which
And I just wanted to add one more thing to your question. One of the features as well is you can upload content. So you're able to upload content. You're able to sort of filter through. Let's say you take two fairy tales, right? Little Red Riding Hood and Snow White. Well, it understands that that's a story. You're able to extract stories, themes, build a profile. So you're able to upload source material, and that's what I was saying with the QR code. It will ask you. So if you're uploading source material that does not belong to you, it will ask you if it belongs to you. If it doesn't belong to you, then we'll know, right? And then there'll be a tracking of how much it was used. If it does belong to you, then sweet. Now you have a screenplay generated for you, but only after it's been crafted first. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm like playing with this right now on my phone, and there's a lot of terminology in here that to the layman you may not know. Climax, resolution. Like I worked in the film industry for a long time too. So what elements or what features do you have to at least actually help people understand, like, what are these things that we have to input?
Well, I think the thing to understand more importantly is we help the system understand it. So I ran across this really interesting thing when I was digging around with like ChatGPT like earlier on, just sort of testing my screenplays versus what it could generate. Well, first of all, it only generates scenes. Now, if anyone knows, a screenplay is not a series of scenes. It has arcs. It has, it's a more organic thing than that. So our job, in its full version, not in the demo version, but in its full version, all of the books and things that you would learn if you attended like a writing class, and we actually upload that information. We teach our system to know how to guide a novice. So that's I'm in a position to be.
So in essence, we wouldn't need to know what any of these things mean.
No. I mean, you would again. The thing about screenplay writing is you're supposed to breathe life onto the page. It's not just syntax. So, and then the other part is screenwriting is supposed to go on the screen, right? So those are all very complicated nuances that would be difficult for anyone to navigate. That's why I kind of liken it to, like I said, R2D2 navigating you through the galaxy. I mean, that's your co-pilot. That's what's going to help you go to warp speed and get to where you have to go to, because it knows how to help you, as opposed to taking over for you, which some of the other models are sort of.
And to that regard, we could down the road build in some sort of educational aspect that would be able to inform otherwise uninformed users to catch up to speed to what would be like intermediated.
Well, I don't know if you need it. I mean, honestly, I'm hearing you say you don't got to know nothing about screenwriting.
Theoretically,
Put your ideas in and it'll pop out. I love it.
Idea.
No. Well, you don't have to, because I do. And that's my job to teach. I mean, I would be honest. I honestly, the reason why it's called Screenplaymate is because I am inviting people who know less than the average screenwriter to enjoy, this process, because it's a joy if it's not hard.
Especially just seeing your ideas come, almost come to life at that point.
Give a round of applause.
All right, next up we have Play Anywhere Together. Play Anywhere Together.
Cool. So this needs some audience participation. So if you would like to go ahead and scan the QR code and join in. Maybe my internet is also not good here. Yeah, Google Internet. Cool. Full screen. There we go. Now it should work. So one of the big things and one of the big challenges out there is accessibility in games, where you have these very high-end games out there, and then you have mobile games, and you have all these different ways that people are playing games. But it's very much not focused on groups of people. It's very much not focused on how do we get more people involved in doing things around the world and being able to play together and have all these things. And so I really wanted to make that bigger so we could get more people involved. So I'm going to go ahead and click start, and we can start playing together. So go ahead and answer the questions that you have in front of you, and go ahead and fill out the answers, and we'll start playing together. The idea behind this can run on anything. We're able to do these on phones. We're able to do this on console. We're able to do this on PC. We're able to do this anywhere like a browser can run. And so we generate questions, we generate things using Gemini to be able to really integrate and do very small games, things that are able to be very customizable out there and be able to be involved. And this allows us to do things where I can be at a conference, or I can be at an event, or I can do things with my entire extended family, and we can get together and do game nights. We can do things where you're not being limited by having an older device, you're not being limited by having something that you don't have to go buy $400, $500 worth of PlayStation, etc. out there. But there's a lot of different things we can do. Hopefully we can get some more people to fill this out. It won't go forward. I didn't think this through. What? Yeah, so when you're on the thing, you should have gotten prompted questions on the thing. Yeah, we're almost there. We need a few more people. We need Eton, Story, Bridget, and Jinghala to enter their question, and Neo to enter their questions, and then we will be able to move forward. But the idea behind this is we're then going to vote as a community on, hey, what is the best answer to these questions? What is the worst answer to these questions? And then you can continue to score it. The idea behind this is that we now have something where it's very much a community doing something, and this can be extensible to various different ways. My entire idea behind this is actually just mainly the how do we get into a lobby together and do stuff. The building the game stuff actually was less of the work for me because I build games. And so it was really fun to be able to do a lot of this stuff and continue to do it. Let me see if I can eject some people. No? Okay. Well, that's unfortunate that we can't go to the next step because people haven't finished. Oh, it's loading? Oh, is it the internet? Oh, okay. Well, we will quickly, I can take down the server, but I don't really want to. So, because I'd have to start from the beginning and I don't have time. But, so we have figured out there is a max limit that I currently have on this Wi-Fi. But the idea is you can still see that we've now gotten, I think it's here, 12 people that were able to get into the game, and we had some networking connectivity issues with the rest. The idea behind this is that anybody can add this type of library to their game, so they can go expand into different types of games, which I did, where I was like, okay, this is a great game to be able to have, but what if I started doing more things? What if I brought in stuff like I wanted to play a group thing of playing Tetris? Or what if I wanted to recreate Agar.io, where everybody's controlling little things? Or what if I wanted to do drawing apps where everybody's participating? And that's the power behind Play Anywhere Together, where it's like you don't have to be having expensive devices. Anybody can play, and it's all about accessibility. And the nice thing is we're also talking about accessibility in different ways. So you can see, I should just make this full screen. Ooh, that's the opposite of full screen. But we were able to that's my Spotify way, okay. But yeah, I don't know why. Okay. But yeah, we were able to do more stuff. So I was able to do extensibility through different games. I was also able to do accessibility through different ways of playing. So think about voice chat. If we were actually able to get this working with this network, voice to be able to do things. We're talking about keyboards. We're talking about different types of controllers. We're talking about running this on TVs natively, so you don't even have to have somebody as the main screen. We're talking about even building little custom controllers that are able to hook up to your phone so people with disabilities can continue to play. And the nice thing is a lot of these were a lot of this work was done with Gemini, where I was able to do a lot of work building these custom games, these tiny little games, these mini games with Gemini tools. And so I wish the demo we had less people for the demo. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to do, and thank you guys for running a great hackathon. I'll try to back out and keep people out. But go, yeah. What?
Can you tell us what would have happened?
If it would have happened, is basically you're asking questions. You're asking questions, and everybody who was in it was asked questions, like 2 questions. There's only one other person in the crowd who was asked the same question. And so then it would put the 2 choices up on the screen, and you would get an arrow left or right for everybody who wasn't those 2 people. And you'd be able to vote, hey, which is the better answer or the more funny answer or stuff like that. Like, think very much like Cards Against Humanity's apples to apples type games. And all of the questions are generated with Gemini and various ways to do that.
So my question was, this seems to be like one of the game modes, right? Because you demonstrated other things. So there's like the grand vision here, basically creating a multiplayer game canvas across any kind of, like,
exactly.
device.
The idea is that I want to be able to extend from anywhere from
So like
4
Figma
people
for games.
to 400 people. So it's like if you're in like a college stadium where we can start involving more people and vote on outcomes and stuff like stadiums, but also, or the Olympics, but also very much like more focused at home, where it's like, hey, you go to grandma's, you go to grandpa's for the holidays. They don't have games, but we we just open a browser and we're all playing together around the couch and stuff.
Would you say it's limited to a mobile device, or like say I'm using an iPhone, someone has a desktop, and all play together?
Any of that's gonna work.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If it runs a browser, it'll run it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like Figma for games in a way?
Basically, yeah.
I'm curious. Does something like this already exist? Are you familiar with Jackbox
Yes,
TV?
I am familiar with Jackbox. Problem with Jackbox is it requires a PC. It's about 12 gigabytes of size for Jackbox for all of their files, because they're running a full server on that computer that then you are, like, they basically ngrok out, and then you get onto it from there. The idea behind this is all back end, so you don't have to, and it's all browser based, so you don't have to install anything, and so it can run on much more lightweight things.
And there's nothing like this on the market at the moment. Okay.
Well, that was actually my question. Is I go to a lot of meetings, and they try and make them fun
So the
with
closest,
a poll.
Yes, the closest thing to this is something like what they use in schools for kids to be able to, like, where they answer questions and they're doing quizzes and stuff like that, where they all participate in that quiz. Or some of these, like, I go to a lot of exec meetings as well, where it's like, hey, how do you feel about these things? And it's like, you all vote. But nobody's really taking it to how can you control a game together or stuff like that. Like, one thing I really want to do, somewhat with this, but somewhat just in general, is I want to make scenarios for activities. So it's like, you're in an exec meeting. Okay, how are you going to handle an issue that arises? And then as a group, you each have different tasks on each phone, and then it swaps and such.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand. So there's like inside of Google Meet, there's like the polls feature and, that sort of thing. So I don't understand how the game part of this is the leading piece of it.
What do you?
Well, this looks like a poll to me, and so I'm curious, like the gaming piece of it. Like how is that the spotlight?
How is the spotlight the games? Well, there's different types of games you can do. Like, this one is very much like, this is charades, this is Mad Libs type thing, where it's like, which is the better Mad Lib to then build like a full story or something like that. But there's different types of games, and we have to be more accessible. We can't just have these very complex, graphically intensive things. But things like, hey, we're playing Space Invaders, where there's 8 spaceships. Or we're doing these things, or things that I started building that are extensible with this type of framework. Yeah. Sure.
So you just mentioned like Space Invaders and like different types of games that might be more intensive, depending on the type of devices being used. These are all ran in the browser, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so there wouldn't be really an issue of like, okay, that's too intensive to run this specific. Okay, that's very cool.
If the only thing holding it back is like Chromium, but like I purposely have this running in like Chromium 74, and we're at like 128 now. So that's like 4 years difference.
Okay, very cool.
Not sure if I heard this in your presentation, but okay, so you have different games.
who will develop these games? Is it generated or is it like, community based? Hey, I'm gonna design a game, upload it, and have fun.
So there's two answers to this.
Or like a
the real
marketplace?
answer, what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to open source this and work with as many developers who want to do this as possible.
Love that.
The business answer is probably I would want to integrate with as many game companies and want to do stuff. I'll probably use it as a library for things that I'm working on in the future for games because it's easy multiplayer to be able to generate things. I don't necessarily believe in the world so much where anybody just generates a game, because even though I was able to do this, it took knowledge of game mechanics. It took a lot of like, hey, how do I just generate this? How do I generate this? Like this, and this that the lay person would not know. But a game, like a pretty advanced, like significantly advanced college game dev would be able to do. So it's something that could be done.
Because that's really what I was trying to get. You're going to create potentially a marketplace,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
That allows, because that's the business answer,
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah, that's the two parts where it's like building the library that makes it possible.
That's right.
Very appealing to me as someone who loves open source, who wants to give accessibility to games to anybody. And then, hey, wait, this is actually a really great way to make games and monetize games potentially, and compete with like all sorts of different businesses. Oh, I could monetize that on that side.
Yeah, I was wondering, why don't you just integrate all the open source games into the canvas? Because they are on GitHub.
Yes. So, fun fact, I started doing that and then realized that part of the issues are a lot of these open source games are never been designed for browsers. And that's kind of it, where it's like they still require some weird server system, or they still require some sort of weird thing that I couldn't get to on this. Like I'd have to rewrite like a middleware layer to take it out of maybe a desktop version. Yeah.
Do you see a world, that's actually a really great question. Do you see a world, and a great side thing, do you see a world where there's a whole new type of development, game development, based on this? I'm not really big in the gaming category, so that's why.
I think mini games are taking over. I think things where it's like small word games, things where you can do in under 15 minutes, are like play for less than 15 minutes, are incredibly popular and growing. The New York Times last year made $280 million off of Wordle. Like these games are insane. LinkedIn now has games built into it. You're seeing games pop up, but these are small, like brain teasers. How do you engage someone around you? What is a game is evolving, and so I'm a big believer in the mini games are the future of games. For a long time, when people talk about I'm a gamer, they were like, well, I play if you play Xbox. But then it was like, well, mobile's that too. But like, is it mini games? Is it Mario Party? Isn't that a game as well? Like all of these different things.
It reminded me of like mini clip back from the day.
Yeah, that was honestly where I was going. I was like, how did I turn mini clip or Newgrounds? But every game is multiplayer.
Yep, very cool.
They had games already that you could join.
Yes.
The guy next to you by joining a room.
Local.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is sick.
Round of applause.
Next up, we have Talk to Sign. Next up, we have Talk to Sign.
Hello, everyone. My name is Xiao. Now, please imagine you're already in the 2028 Olympic Games, and this is like a once-in-lifetime event. In the excitement, the raw from the crowd, the atmosphere, it may be easy for you to have such like immersed experience. But for like around 1 million deaf or hearing impaired people across the United States, it is difficult for them. They may lose information from like exciting sports commentary, or if they need help in the event, they cannot understand what the volunteer is saying to them. So our project Talk to Sign aims to change that. Here is how it works. If you are a volunteer who try to learn some language to help with more deaf people, you can just type in the text you want to learn. For example, what can I help you? And you can see our system firstly reorganizes the word in the sentences, because American Sign Language, its syntax is very different from English. So then it will extract the keywords that used to find the corresponding sign language video to generate a final sign language animation. And if you click on this play button, you can see this human being-like 3D model is trying to translate it into the sign language for the sentence. And so also, if you're like a deaf people and you want to hear, oh, what's this people is saying to me, you can just click on this microphone button and start to record their audio. For example, I will see. What can I help you? And then you click again to stop this recording. Okay, it's missed my words, but it's still like recognize the sentence, and then the 3D model will also translate it according to the audio I say. Also, in addition to our device, to our design is that we offer a mobile device view, so that in this view, people will be more convenient using it to use it, because you don't want to like bring your laptop to the event to reach our website. You just want to like grab your phone to be in the event. And one of the biggest challenge for us to do this translation is that, not every English words have its corresponding vocabulary in sign language, especially for the word like name. And I can so relate it to it, because my native language is Chinese and I have a Chinese name. Every time when I introduce my name to others, I will get some confused face, because they don't know what exact word it is. So what I will do in that situation is just to spell it. So it is the same with the sign language. They will use finger spell to tell this name. So I can try also in this mobile device view, like I will type my name, hello, I am Xiao. And then you can see our system split letters in my name, and then the 3D model is just trying to show the sign language for each letter of my name to do this translation. And also for our future scope, we think there's still a strong potential for it to be improved. The first one is that it should not be limited to just translate English to American Sign Language. There are lots more languages in the world, and if we can develop it, or to say expand the language database, then it could be used across the world. And also, of course, Olympic Games is a global game. Lots of people around the world will watch it, so definitely it has this need to be changed into a global use. And secondly, we want to do a real-time translator, which means if a deaf people is watching TVs and the channel is broadcasting exciting Olympic Games lively, they want to listen at the real time what the commentator is saying about this game. So that's our future scope. And that's all of my demonstration. Let's make 2028 LA Olympics accessible to all. That's all.
Wow, you guys are fast. This is such a cool idea. It reminded me, I used to travel a lot internationally, and show up in a country where I don't know the language for, say, a day or a few hours. And everybody started using Google Translate for that, and it really like changed the world, who you could communicate with in these like micro encounters. I think this is a really great idea. I'm curious, you said want to do real-time translations. I'm wondering if you thought about looking into the past. So for example, if I want to see a sign language version of like a movie from the 80s or something, would you be able to do something like that in addition to like real time? Could you maybe upload a YouTube video that you heard everybody was talking about on TikTok, or something like that, where it's like I know that this is cool, but I can't understand it yet. Could I upload it?
You mean like there's a translation window comes with a movie like that?
Yeah, so like in addition to this sort of real time what's happening right now, could you also add something where you could upload existing content from the past that's in video or audio?
Yeah, that's exactly. I think it's a little similar to like real-time stuff, because also when you like generate sentence by sentence for this movie, like what the Ro is saying, and then after that, we want to like generate it after the sentence it is spoken, instead of like they speak for a long time, then we start to translate. So if we can do like a real-time translation to do so, like I think we can develop it into like a Google extension, which if you just use it and then you click onto a YouTube video or movie video, it can generate a sign language model which posts a sign language at the same time when the role is speaking. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Avi from LA Metro. Did you do a survey and talk to folks that speak American Sign Language, and kind of ask them what tools they're using? And I'm wondering if there's if there's any existing models out there or apps that you looked at. Like, is this groundbreaking in terms of and how it might differentiate between other apps out there?
Okay, thank you. That's a very great question, because when we start, we of course search online about what kind of tool has been used for this kind of translation, and we found like one tool called HandTalk, which is actually doing such a like similar thing as our prototype. But I think our difference, we aim to be like why we're different from them is that we don't find like a specialized like translator for American Sign Language thing. And also another thing is that what we want to do in the future is a real-time translator, and we don't find like any translation tool can do this for which can help the deaf people to understand what the commentator are saying about in the Olympics games. Yeah.
I think this is a great project. I'm thinking about it if I were to be attending, or if I was, I can't quite, I obviously have my hearing, so I'm not 100% sure of their experience. But in my mind, if I am trying to communicate something with somebody deaf, and I bring out my phone to type something to them, why would I put it through an AI to give a visual sign language as opposed to just typing something for them to then be able to read?
Yeah, firstly, I thought like if we wanted to make them to be more easily understand others talking, maybe for deaf people, they're more dependent on like a visual language they have learned. Maybe the words, like the English words, it's not like a very basic communication tool for them. But also, I want to mention that our final goal is to do a real-time translator, which I think in a real-time text, using a phone to type in a text will not be the best option. And actually, I have like a more idea about how this could be developed. Is that it could be like installed on some like smart glass, like Google Glass or Meta Glass, where like the glass can detect the voice and then directly generate a view of the sign language in front of them. So they don't have to hand out the phone, because it's kind of impolite to when you communicate with others, like looking at a phone and try to say communicate in both direction. Yeah.
I like that was your response, because that's kind of where I was thinking that this goes, is that if I'm watching the Olympics, I don't want to have my phone out and
Yeah,
be looking
yeah.
at it through my phone. I want to maybe just have glasses, and in the top corner I can see, and then you can also be then plugged in to the stadium audio and be getting that main feed going to you. And I think once you start adding in other languages, that's when it really becomes interesting, because right now, if I'm trying to communicate with somebody who doesn't speak my language, I can open up Google Translate, I can talk directly into English, and to a varying degree of success, the other person will be able to understand, whether it's they'll read it in their language, or I can hit the play button and they can listen back.
Yeah, I can so relate to that, because actually to turn it into a multilingual thing is a thing I really want to do, because when I watch the Olympic Games, I usually, for exciting moments like, oh, my country win this game, I want not only listen to our country's commentator to tell something about it, I also like search for different languages, like commentator from the different countries, how they comment on this. I want to hear from more voices. So if this could be turned into multilingual, then like those deaf people, if they're Americans, although they use American Sign Language, but they can use our tool to listen to like Chinese or any other languages, how they comment on it. Yeah.
Hi. For the real-time experience, how do you see that kind of experience being used? Like, do you envision like maybe a Chrome extension? Do you see like some way like, the video feed and audio feed runs through the software? Or like, how do you envision that real-time working versus, when you're not in the stadium, like when you're at home maybe watching something? How do you see that experience kind of looking like?
I think if you want to watch a YouTube video and you use that extension, then there will be a window like occurs on that website. It will show like our human being 3D model. There will generating sign language video when their sound from that video is pronounced or something like that. Yeah, that's our thinking about that.
For the YouTube videos, what's the differentiation between AI generated captions and the sign language model signing it instead of giving the visually written words?
I think you mean like the summarize of the
Right now, I think on a lot of YouTube videos, if you press the captions button, if the video is uploaded with the captions a file with it, it'll play that. But I believe there's some AI models now that are just listening to the audio and then giving auto-generated captions. So the question was, what differentiates that current caption system that I believe also is working in other languages between a visual...
Well, that's another point I want to say something, is that the English is different from sign language, not only in the pose, but also sign language use a very different scene to translate emotion, is their face. Like, although it is not like relies in my model, but what I learned is that they will translate like different emotions in how they behave in their face to others. So if like a commentary is a very exciting thing, I think the pose generated by that 3D model will also convey this emotion to like the deaf people instead of just code word like in the caption. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Alrighty, folks. We're all about bridging the digital divide, so we do have a contestant who is going to be demoing on the screen. They are virtually coming in, so get ready. We have contracts.ai. Victor, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Excellent, excellent. Welcome, Victor. You are now in Google. We can all hear you. And so I'm going to be giving you 5 minutes, and I will probably announce, because you cannot necessarily see me, when you have 2 minutes left, when you have 1 minute left. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Gravy. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ready? Go.
Cool. Hi guys. Nice to see you guys. I'm Victor, and I built Contracts AI. So I built it to address the digital and legal divide that exists today. We live under a system where the laws that govern our lives are asymmetrically accessed by those who can afford them. My project is an AI contract generator paired with a document signer, so people can access legal documents and contracts easily, and we can bridge the divide. I built this project using OpenAI to like generate the contract, JS PDF to like make it a PDF, Dropbox sign so people can sign it, and S3 buckets. So here's the demo. So like I just type in my email and say like I'm hosting this awesome party called like the TikTok Riz Party. So I'm hosting the TikTok Riz Party. And let's say I want like people there to sign media releases since I like want to post it on TikTok or something, obviously. I want people to sign media releases. Can you generate the media release? And then I click the button and then we wait. So yeah, document is generated, and then you can add like who you expect to sign it, like this name and email. I'm using my other email here, and then yeah, so the media release form. Then you could just like review it and then like put like wherever like you want to sign, like name right here. Yeah, and then the participant would be this dude. Yeah. So yeah, just make sure like it's like what you want, like because like it's AI, right?
You got 2 minutes, Victor.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like either way, yeah. Make sure everything's good, and then like you send an email, this party, come to my party. And then I send it, and then like I can check my email, and then I'll get like the contract to sign. So yeah. Then you can just sign it. Yeah, cool. Yeah, pretty much you'll be able to like just sign it. I didn't like put any signature fields, but I think that's good enough for the demo. So like, what else I want to say is I want to shout out Brandon because I talked to him yesterday. Hi, Brandon, by the way. And he was like, "Oh, like this is like kind of gray area, like legal stuff. It might not like be valid." But I say either way, like don't quote me on this, but like I said in the beginning, there's a digital and legal divide. So like most people even won't like challenge these. Like they just see the contract and they don't even really care. So like can still kind of use it. Personally, I can't remember the last time I went to a lawyer to review contract I signed. Anyways, but regardless of that, project is clearly early, but I haven't wrestled all the details. But it's just like this is where the future is heading. Like it's like a sign. It's like a future where the digital and legal divide will be smaller, and to me, that is a bright future. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Victor. Now the judges will be asking you questions. You ready?
Cool, cool.
Excellent. Who would like to go first?
Want me to use this? Okay. Hi, it's Avi from LA Metro. About 50% of my work in government is doing contracts and sitting with our legal counsel and trying to be very nice so that we'll create a contract and our project will move forward. Do you like, can you see like how, and in some of those contracts, each contract is unique and specific to the context and the legal kind of terrain. Like what capabilities do you see that we could kind of build in and teach the model and like feed it past contracts? Because I have a huge database of past contracts and they all have kind of unique specifications and they're different industries that we worked with. But, you know, generally our legal counsel doesn't like to reinvent the wheel. They are risk averse. They want to make sure that each contract is bound and based on a previous contract and also rooted in, you know, the existing legal terrain. So I guess what's the capability of the model to kind of learn from existing databases of existing contracts and to also be able to pull from, you know, existing legal, you know, legal decision and case law, right? Because things are changing, right? New bills are getting signed, new legal laws are being made, right? And every contract you write has to consider that.
That's a great question. I don't make the AI, so I can't like answer like fully. But I think like after talking to Brandon yesterday, the direction I would like to go through is like to partner with lawyers, like with like all the contracts like lawyers have, like you have, we can like maybe like standardize these contracts, and then like the AI's job is not to like generate the contract, but it's to like find the right contract and then fill it out. And then I think then the experience of like getting a lawyer in a couple of years could be like completely changed. It could be like there could be a service to distribute like access to lawyers, and like law firms like have like a store of their contract on the cloud, and then some dude just like types in the search box, oh, I want this specific contract, then like the AI routes it to you, fills it out, and then like, especially if it's like a general case, that would be a really good case, and it'll just fill it out, and then like the person can use it. But I think where lawyers will be like necessary and key would be for like custom cases. So like maybe when you have a custom case and it's like not like already defined, the AI will like tell you, like will put the person who made the request in contact with like the lawyer, so you can like make like a really, really good contract. And what else? There's one more thing I forgot to answer, but like, yeah, that's like my general answer.
Final question for Victor.
I'm curious how you would monetize this. I know there's like LegalZoom, which is somewhat similar, where you know you can get cheaper legal forms done. I'm curious how do you make a profit on this?
I think it's actually pretty easy because it's like the law. Like everyone uses the law. Like companies need it, and if it helps lawyers do their jobs, lawyers will use this too. If it helps them like not have to deal with like repetitive tasks and repetitive case, like it's like a double-sided market, honestly. So I think even like consumers, like oh, say some dude has to like file like rent or like write up a contract for like rent, he could just like ask like a AI to like get a contract instead of like having to pay and schedule an appointment with a lawyer. So I think will probably be easy.
One last question.
Hey, Victor, this is Eitan. Are you familiar with the app Do Not Pay?
I am unfortunately not.
So there, it seems like they have maybe a couple more features, but one of the features that they had was an AI lawyer, and they were providing those services. I'd recommend you take a look and do a little bit of research on that company. I believe there was quite a few lawsuits that was being taken out against them, that they were illegally practicing law, or at least their AI was illegally practicing law. So I hear you talking about lawyers maybe using this as one of their tools, which sounds like there could be an opportunity there. But I would definitely do some more research to figure out if this could serve as a replacement for a lawyer. As a business owner, when I'm writing up my legal contracts, I need to make sure that they're going to stick and that they'll hold up in court, and that would be a pretty big no-go for choosing to adopt this sort of technology?
Yeah, actually, I have heard about it. Brandon told me about it yesterday. Shout out Brandon again. That's why I firmly want to work with lawyers, because it's I see it as the software platform makes it just easier to find a lawyer. We're not trying to replace lawyers. It's you have a law problem, we will comb through all the firm's databases of contracts we have and get you that contract. And since we're working with lawyers, they can easily just update the contract, the standardized contract. And since we know who signed which contract, we can send updates. So I think it's not trying to replace lawyers, but it's gonna make it easy and then make money from that, pretty much.
All right. Thank you so much, Victor. Round of applause, everybody. Alrighty, squad. Thank you so much. This now concludes the demo portion. Please feel free to stretch your legs, grab some refreshments. We will come back in the next 5 minutes to start the award ceremony. We luckily have a Jarvis AI that is going to take the input of all the judges so that we don't have to have our war room. Amazing. We are streamlining everything. So feel free, grab some refreshments, and we'll call you back within the next 5 minutes. Alrighty, folks. Head on down. It's time for the winner chicken dinner. Come on down, folks. Please grab a seat. Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The show is about to begin. Excellent. Jim Morrison, Venice. Okay, excellent. So now we are going to give the prizes, crown the champions. And so before I explain the different prizes, before I introduce the winners, I want to talk about the different prizes. So the top 8 at LA Tech Week, everyone's getting a certificate that commemorates their achievement as a finalist at the LA Tech Week Hackathon, a certificate that is going to be signed by our consortia, Gain LA. The entertainment track, the AI track, the games and hardware track, and the LA 28 Olympics track. They will get $25,000 in web design services for the winning project team. And then also games and hardware, we're throwing in a soldering iron. Go home, make it happen, Captain. Then LA Tech Week Grand Champion. Before I tell you what that is, we have the Angelino Award. This is a discretion award that's going to be awarded online. You will find out on DevPost. The winner will receive the opportunity to raise funds on HackerFund homepage on Giving Tuesday. In order to bridge the digital divide in Los Angeles County, you'll be able to raise funds for your project. The best use of Google technologies. This prize is going to be announced at the end of LA Tech Week, so stay tuned. And then the LA Tech Week Hackathon Grand Champion. The Grand Champion will receive up to $50,000 in grant development services for their project that bridges the digital divide. So get that money. So, without further ado, drum roll please, let's get to our winners. The first winner and the entertainment champion, AI commentator, come on up. Come on up this way, so that this way to my side this way. We'll give you a high five, and then you can come claim your prize. There you go. Amazing. Nice. Nice, amazing. This is that moment to take a photo. Yes, everybody. We'll smile real quick. Kibi, you're a designated photographer right now. Amazing. Right over here.
One over there. Over there.
Amazing. Alrighty, folks, amazing. Next one. Drum roll, please. And the top winner for LA 28. Talk to Sign. Come on down. Talk to Sign. Great job. LA 28 Olympics. real quick to the right. Amazing. All right, drum roll please. And the champion for AI, Health Watch AI. Come on down, Health Watch AI. Okay, sir, sure. Good job. Thank you. Yeah. Good job, bro. Good job.
Straight ahead.
Left first, then right.
Left and then right.
Right.
And then right. And then there.
Amazing. All right, so the next one for the champion in games and hardware. Play anywhere together. Come on down. Yes. This is a first time for everything.
Right, straight ahead.
One more over there.
One on the right. Can you put beer in there?
Oh, one more. Get on in there. Get our moment in. Thank you, Kibi. BTFC knows the angles. All right. And so now for our grand champion, the grand champion of the LA Tech Week Hackathon goes to AI commentator. Let's go. Let's get this money. We are very excited. Let's bring this into schools. Let's bridge the digital divide. Let's get the grant money.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Let's go. I drink a beer out of this. All right,
One more that way. This way. To the right.
Show that a big one.
There you go. Alrighty, folks. Thank you so much for coming through. Yes, everybody stay. You folks stay, and everyone, please, if we can try to fit you on the stage. Everyone who competed and made it to today gets a certificate. We're gonna try to get you your certificate. Should we bring it up now or after? After. Perfect. Perfect. Folks, come on up. Let's get a photo. Let's get an artifact. Competitors first, come on up. Competitors first, come on up. Then we're gonna try to get everyone in. Great job, folks. All right, now let's try to pack this train. Google on three. 1, 2, 3. Google! Thank you, everybody. Thank you for competing. Thank you for coming through and dedicating your time. Happy hacking. For those that have hacked, we salute you, and we will see you at the next hackathon.
Yes.